Mostar, a city in Bosnia and Herzegovina on the banks of the Neretva River, has been viewed nationally and internationally as a symbol of division since the end of the war. The two major political parties have consolidated their control of the two sides of the city and promoted negative, exclusionary nationalist narratives. Many citizens disagree with these divisions. Nevertheless, the impact is evident. For example, in the city's governing institutions, education, the media and the city's public spaces. While these spaces could provide opportunities for residents to connect and share life together, they're often neglected, unmaintained, or perceived as reserved only for certain groups. To address this problem, 5 partner organizations collaborated on the UK-funded project Mostar Spaces to Activate and Rejuvenate. The project seeks to improve public spaces materially and culturally in order to achieve greater social cohesion so Mostar becomes a city for all.
Now we can see that basically all these people, all these activities are happening like within the public space, because public space is like basically the core thing for this project, to basically find the common interest around the public spaces in Mostar that can bring people together and that we are like able to offer like really good content.
To guide the project, one of the 5 partners, Everyday Peace Indicators, EPI, conducted participatory research to see what people of Mostar think about their city, how they define and understand peace and life together. Identifying 7 Mostar communities, both rural and urban, local facilitators asked residents what signs they use in their daily lives to identify the presence or absence of peace and of life together, what's missing and what works.
Most of people's indicators about peace and coexistence were very similar in different neighborhoods. People were really concerned about what is happening around them. You know, it's very different from what we hear on news, what we hear from politicians. In the context of peace and coexistence, I think this is encouragement, because it tells us that people have the same or similar needs, and the bigger difference is what youth think than let's say adults, than what maybe people of different ethnicity thinks or considering as a peace indicator, for example. Many of them said that it's the first time that somebody is actually asking us what do we really think and validate our opinion.
Collecting more than 2,000 everyday indicators of peace and life together, EPI found that public space is a concern for all. While adults tended to prioritize need for infrastructural improvements, young people sought more opportunities for socializing and personal growth. They all shared a desire to enhance the quality of life in their communities. These findings informed a range of Project Mostar's activities that improved infrastructure and supported new cultural events in Mostar's public spaces.
And the research is now like being confirmed basically by the delivery of the activities. So we can see that some of the indicators that were like identified as the important ones were reflected later on in the implemented activities, and we can see that basically it proved that like the people, once the situation has improved in a certain aspect, are really like improved their situation. It brought a change for them particular or for some like community in the project.
Sva priča koja je išla bila je sad i bila je vezana za probleme, konkretne probleme u zajednici. Nije bilo je prije 20, prije 30, nekad je bilo. Nego mi sad imamo taj problem.
As a follow-up to this local study, Everyday Peace Indicators hired community researchers from each of the 7 communities to explore the context and meaning of the most important issues. Based on the conversations they had with their neighbors, they created photo stories which were exhibited in a city bus that traveled around Mostar. This way, locals had the opportunity to learn about the specific concerns of each neighborhood and fellow residents' perspectives about the city.
Međutim, jedna poznanica kada je ušla u tu priču i kada je pročitala sve ove indikatore, baš se je zainteresovala i taj neki indikator se toliko vezao za njenu situaciju da je sklopilo se da može ispričati tu svoju priču.
The concerns and perspectives from EPI's research also provide concrete points of intervention for policymakers and the peace-building community for the life Mostar residents seek.
What I would single out as the most striking thing about the EPI approach was that it's a truly participatory approach. Everybody tries to be participatory these days. It's like it's kind of a buzzword too, but in reality, it always ends up not being implemented as imagined. When it comes to EPI, what I really liked was that the participatory idea was, it's really realized like from the very beginning until the end.
So I've been working in Mostar on various issues, mostly on peace and human rights, for the last 30 years. But this has been the first time that we actually use the bottom-up approach, which I honestly quite forgot that exists, because in Mostar we are quite used that actually our agenda and our needs are designed by the people living on the top, or working from the top, or even sometimes by the international community.
Everyday Peace Indicators methodology offered a unique approach to peace in Mostar that put the practical needs and aspirations of locals at the center, rather than the concerns of so-called experts. The project facilitated improvements to public spaces and cultural activities in them, based on citizens' input, to make Mostar more of a city for all.